I've been wearing the Whoop 4.0 for over a year now, and in this video I'm going to give you my honest review of it. So what are the features of Whoop then? First up, Whoop's got this screenless design, no display, no buttons, just a lightweight band that you barely notice is there. And when I wear this when I'm boxing, running and also lifting weights, I would agree, I do not notice this. There's something else I want to add into this section, and if you are on the track, if you're doing some sprinting, you will probably feel the weight of the Whoop when you're doing some sprints. I went on the track last week for the first time in quite a long time. I had the Whoop on my left wrist, I had my Garmin on my right wrist. When I was running around the bend, when I was sprinting around the bend, I could feel the weight of the Whoop but not the Garmin. So if you are a sprinter, if you are a track athlete and you're doing those high speed running sessions, I'd take the Whoop off personally. It's also waterproof too, which is great because you don't need to take this off. Whoop's got 5 LED sensors and 4 photodiodes, which means it's tracking everything. Heart rate, your breathing rate, the amount of oxygen in your blood, your skin temperature, your sleep, your steps, the calories that you burn, stress levels, and there is so much more as well. And all of this data is really impressive. If you're coming down with something, Whoop usually knows before you do, and it'll flag up on your health metrics which may be out of their usual range. Here's the interesting part. Whoop gives you scores: strain, recovery, and sleep performance. Basically, it's telling you how hard you've pushed yourself, how well you're bouncing back from this, and whether your sleep amount and the quality is cutting it. You also get access to Whoop's app too, and this is your hub for everything that the Whoop band is collecting. It will give you insights based on your goals, a journal to track your habits, you can log your weight, you can talk to your Whoop AI coach, you can join communities, loads of different stuff. It's good, but one thing that I've noticed with the journal is that it does take a while to load in the morning, which is just annoying. And sometimes, depending on how many habits you're journaling about and tracking, you can end up just scrolling to the bottom, saving your journal. So I'd say that some of this data that it's collecting is not always accurate. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. It's also a membership model too. That means that you pay a monthly amount for the Whoop, which is around £27 or $35 US. Okay, so what are the pros of Whoop then? And obviously, I've already touched on a few of them. The sleep tracking in Whoop is great. I think as well, it is super accurate. Now I've got a Garmin on this wrist and I've got Whoop on the left wrist, and I would say that Whoop is miles ahead of Garmin when it comes to this sleep tracking. Whoop will pick up when you actually fall asleep, when you're actually waking up, and even the stages of that sleep as well. And you can also see how alcohol is affecting your sleep too. There was one particular night where I went out with my friends and it does show up the effects on your Whoop too. I looked at my sleep the next day and there was a significant drop in my REM sleep, which is exactly what we see happens in the research when you drink alcohol. So like I say, I was really impressed with this feature of Whoop. You also get continuous updates with Whoop free of charge. The subscription model actually works here. You're getting regular software updates, so Whoop's always adding new features without charging you or you having to buy a new watch. So in the time that I've had Whoop, it's added step count and it's also added tracking your weight, which was not there a year ago. And I really like that about Whoop, which is really different to a lot of its competitors. Another great benefit of Whoop is that it makes you focus and prioritize your recovery. If you are a non-stop person, Whoop is going to be your wake-up call. Now, I used to train 6 days a week and I felt all right, but then I got a Whoop and my recovery scores were, let's say, shocking. And my strain score was always really high. So I decided to change things around. Another thing that I really like about Whoop is that you can wear it in lots of different ways. You can wear it on your wrist, your bicep, or even in Whoop's clothing. It's a good idea if you're doing a sport like me, like boxing, where you need to wrap your wrists and you might need to change the location of your Whoop so it doesn't get hit and hurt you. Another great feature of Whoop is the portable charging. You don't need to take this off to charge it like other watches. You can just charge it, forget about it, and it can still be on your wrist. Although I've left the charger on before and then gone in the shower. Luckily, it was okay, but the charger isn't waterproof and it is easy to do this. Also, when I was thinking about this video, I wanted to say that I'd lost the charger twice. I've actually lost it 3 times now, which is so peak because I realized that last night as I was about to start filming this video. And they're not cheap to replace, £44 to replace a charger. Something about those portable chargers that just makes them so much more losable compared to sticking a USB in the wall. And also, it's not the best look, especially if you're out and about. Now, it is quite big, so if you are dressing smart, like I have to go to business events and it won't really fit under the shirt cuff. So even though I've just said that this is something that I like about Whoop, it's actually probably more something that I don't like about Whoop. Something else else I do really like about Whoop though is that you can join communities and you can compete against other people, check their stats against your own. Running, boxing, if you're in the UK, if you're in the US, there's a group for it. You can always be comparing yourself and your progress to other like-minded people within your chosen sport. Something else I really like about Whoop is it automatically logs your workout, so you can quite literally just start working out and Whoop will say what type of exercise you've done and for how long, which again, it's really different to its competitors here. Okay, what's not so good about Whoop? The battery life. They will say it lasts 5 days, but that is BS. Mine lasts around 3 to 4 days maximum. Okay, there's something else that I didn't realise you could do with the Whoop, and you can check the battery life of your Whoop by tapping it a couple of times. Green, high battery, yellow, amber colours, might need charging, red definitely needs charging. So yeah, I didn't even realise this until Nick told me, but if you tap the Whoop a couple of times, you can see what battery life you've got left. And if you charge your Whoop at night, there is a really, really, really bright light that comes on when it's fully charged, and this has woken me up a few times in the middle of the night, which I think is actually quite ironic when Whoop is trying to help you sleep. So definitely don't charge it overnight. It doesn't have any GPS, so runners, heads up, there's no built-in GPS with Whoop. If you want pace, if you want splits, if you want your distance, you're going to need a GPS device. Garmin, for me, is definitely better here for tracking your runs. Whoop doesn't feel that accurate on the exercise tracking for this reason. Something else that is a bit of a drawback is you can get obsessed with the data. Whoop's detailed tracking can turn into a bit of a numbers game. You can wake up one morning, you can actually feel all right, you check your Whoop, you see red scores, and then suddenly you feel off. You can get hooked on trying to hit green, and it can take over a little bit and become all-encompassing. So what I'd say here is take the data that Whoop's giving you with a pinch of salt, because these devices are still not 100% accurate. This is a big drawback for me, because you don't ever need to take this band off. When you're in the shower, the band does get worn out fast, and I think it looks absolutely terrible after a while as well, especially if you're doing regular exercise, sweat, it doesn't look great. Like if I take my band off now, the underside of this just looks horrible, and it doesn't smell too bad. But yeah, I would have much preferred Whoop to offer as standard a rubber band like you can get with the Garmin's. Another thing that I don't like about the Whoop is that it won't track your quick naps unless they're over about 45 minutes. So with what we do, there's times where I get back late from a business event and I know that the next day I'm going to be tired because I've only had 5 to 6 hours of sleep. And what I will do is I will have a nap to make up for this, and also so that I can get my green scores on Whoop, because that's really important, isn't it? But Whoop does not track your nap unless it's longer than 45 minutes. So that's just a little bit annoying. Something else with Whoop that I'm kind of on the fence about, I'm not too sure whether I think it's hilarious or I don't really like it. It tracks everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Basically, it tracks your sex as well. I thought it was actually quite funny when you're looking back and you've got workout, but it can be a little bit weird, especially if you're sharing stats with your coach. And I have got clients that do use Whoop, and it can also feel a little bit weird knowing that Whoop can see this data as well. They could do with an ankle strap for these times, but then it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because do you want to tell Whoop that you're having sex, or do you want to wear it on your ankle and then look like you're fresh out of prison? Something else as well is the Whoop AI-powered coach. It's not great. Slow responses, you can tell that it's AI and it doesn't always load. Maybe this is going to get better with time, but I don't personally use this right now. Would I recommend the Whoop band then? 100%. I think it's very different to a lot of other fitness watches on the market. If you are somebody who pushes yourself hard, whether that's in your training, it's running your business, or doing another sport, I think Whoop is great for keeping you aware of those limits and starting to prioritize yourself. And if you are interested in trying the Whoop, I've put our referral link into the bio. You can try it for free using the link in the description.